Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today, we'll be talking to Mandy, who is an adult nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working full-time at a medical spa under a plastic surgeon. She's beginning to realize that she is making someone else wealthy with her own blood, sweat, and tears, and is wanting to start her own business. She's wanting to start her own aesthetics practice where she is going to focus on a variety of aesthetics procedures, in addition to providing some other niche services such as weight loss and men's health. She's needing assistance with securing collaborators, starting her own practice, and what location to choose. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on here. So let's just jump into it. So tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been a nurse practitioner for, what you've kind of been doing, just bring us up to speed.
Okay, so I've been a nurse practitioner since 2015, and that was in New York, where I was used to functioning more independently. I'm in Texas currently, so it's a little bit more of a restrictive state. While I was a nurse practitioner, I initially started in internal medicine and also worked in the ER. So when I was doing internal medicine, I had a connection with a plastic surgeon that needed help with aesthetics, which is how I eventually got into that full time. But what was frustrating for me is when I was practicing internal medicine, I realized that I could make more money as a nurse in the ER than I could as a nurse practitioner. So after 2 years of doing internal medicine, I left to go back to the ER as a nurse to work part-time and then build the aesthetics practice just so I had that stability, because with aesthetics, you don't, just walk into patients. You have to really build that. And then I moved to Texas 5 years ago, where I've been slowly building a practice from just a room, essentially from a spa. I was pregnant when I was interviewing, so that was fun. And then I had a newborn, but was still continuing to build. So I say that out there for people who are pregnant or have newborns, you can still start these little businesses or build practices.
Sure.
So I've been hyper focused on the business for the past 3 years, just doing aesthetics and kind of building it just through word of mouth and through the spa being a really good referral source.
Okay. Are you compensated well, at least?
Yes, but I had to negotiate for that. It was because the initial salary when I started with the surgeon I'm with now was pretty low. But I think over time, after he saw that I was lucrative, he was willing to work with me on that. So yes, I think I'm compensated probably better than most people in my field. But the wall I'm running into now is this tax thing. And when I listened to your tax lecture, that it just, I don't know, it was like a hammer hitting me over the head. It was like my huge aha moment where when you said taxes are going to be your most expensive bill in your life, it just gave me pause because I have no protection as a W-2 employee. Outside of writing off my Goodwill stuff that I donate. I can't write off even scrubs. I didn't even know that. I can't write off scrubs or continuing education. So I just realized what you've talked about in the past, there's this ceiling and I'm feeling the ceiling. So I need to be able to get out from underneath that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the light bulb went off. It's kind of one of the whole reasons why I do this. I write these articles and do these podcasts and, make these courses. It's for that aha moment, yeah, you're totally getting screwed. I mean, that's you are just like as an employee from a tax perspective, you just get totally screwed over. Like W-2 salaried, people in this country pay more taxes than business owners and wealthy people. Like it's just how the system's designed. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing unethical about it. It's how the system's designed. You either play the game or you don't, like you can continue giving money to a government that recklessly spends it on stuff, or you could keep the money for yourself and build a financially, secure life. I mean, which one would you rather have? Right. So yeah, I'm glad you had that aha moment. I think it should be one of those motivating reasons to get out on your own and start your own business. I think, I think that's definitely, I think that should be one of the main reasons,
It is my main reason because again, of that lecture I listened to from you. Like,
Yeah.
and what's makes me feel crazy is, I'm married to somebody that specializes in economics, but they don't teach taxes the way you would think. I mean, I just figured he knew all this stuff. And when I made him listen to your lecture and he was like, really? Like he didn't even know. I'm like, why is there such a huge gap in knowledge here? And I'm so grateful to you for making all this not only approachable, but just so accessible because it's literally going to change the trajectory of my life. I don't think I would have done this if I hadn't heard these words.
Yeah, someone has to kind of show you the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had a mentor show me the light, 5-6 years ago, whatever it was. Like someone kind of has to just lift the curtain up. And yeah, just because, you're significant others in economics, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, hell, even if you're an accountant, it doesn't mean anything. Like it blows my mind how many accountants don't know how to truly reduce your tax bill. Like a lot of accountants are just data entry specialists. They just know how to fill out the forms.
Mhm.
They don't really know. They're not a tax strategist. They're not a tax attorney, So just a quick piece of advice. Don't rely on your accountant to lower your taxes. Like you are responsible for that, not your accountant, So just kind of keep that in mind as you kind of go through this journey, okay? Like you have to be the one that implements those tax lowering strategies into your business. You're the one that has to realize how to do it, how to, legally write off travel and what expenses you can write off for your business, which ones you can't. Because if you don't write it off, you're not getting that money back ever again. The
Right.
IRS doesn't give refunds for things like that, So you got to write it off, but you have to know how to do it. You can't rely on your accountant. So just quick piece of advice.
I did speak to a tax attorney and he was kind of helpful, but I did read or listen to a few like books on taxes. Do you have any other like additional tips, like how I can better educate myself outside of, reading books or talking to a tax attorney?
Well, most of the strategies I talk about in the tax course, those are really the big highlights for what you can write off, in a small business. Anything else is going to be such an advanced tax strategy that it's not going to be applicable to you until you start having, a multi-million-dollar net worth. Okay. So like, I don't think I would overthink that. Just follow those basic strategies in the course. Get yourself a solid accountant that knows how to actually do the write-off and actually how to like do the paperwork on the back end. And that's pretty much it. You really don't have to worry too much about it.
Okay.
Don't do deep dives into these deferred asset trusts and all these super advanced tax strategies. Like that ain't applicable until this business that you starts generating $1 million a year. Like, don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely my goal. Like right now, as far as like, I just want to give you an idea of numbers, if that's okay.
Sure. Absolutely. 100%.
So like last year I grossed like $670,000.
Wow. Nice.
So, and then I like the net breakdown was 475,000. And that's roughly what I did. Well, I guess I did $100,000 more in 2022.
Boy. So this was basically your salary?
No, what I made was 287.
You made 287. Okay, I got you. So you brought in $600,000 to the practice.
Yeah, that was my gross.
You brought that in. I got you. Okay.
But then what happened? I turned around and paid $100,000 in taxes.
Right. So out of that $600,000 that you produced in the practice, sounds like the practice took about half. You earned the other half. And then after taxes was all said and done, what did you end up netting total?
For myself, I'm going to probably make about 180.
180. Right. At a tax bracket like that, you're easily paying 30%,
Yeah, I'm in the highest tax bracket.
Pretty much, right. So a lot of that money is going to tax, employment taxes, Medicare, Social Security, federal
health insurance,
all of it, right? And so when you really do the math and you really figure it out, I mean, it's 30 to 40%. It's gone. And then when you figure out how much you pay in property taxes, sales taxes, and all these kinds of things, you are easily 50 to 60% of what you make is gone to taxes. It's crazy. It's the biggest expense in your life. No question about it. Right. So
I'm sick over here about it. I've been like angry about it. I'm like, why did I not know this?
Yeah, it should make you angry. It's ridiculous.
I am.
You know? Right. We got to pay taxes. I like having a military. I like having roads. I like having services. I got no problem with that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I just don't want to be taken advantage of. And like exactly to your point, it's like I pay more in taxes, based on my income than like, the ultra elite, like the ultra rich, because they have ways around some of these taxes.
Absolutely. 100%. Of course they do. All of them do. Every single congressman and senator and all those people, they do all this stuff. They can do it. You can do it. Why not?
With your guidance. Yes.
Yeah. You can do it too. Right. Anyways, though, how are we going to be able to get you to a point where it's going to really make it worth your time to implement these strategies and stuff? So obviously, you have to have a business, right? And so that's what you're going to do. So let's talk about a little bit about this. So let's talk about how you're going to navigate this. Do you plan on continuing to work in a part-time capacity or anything when you venture out on your own? What are your thoughts on how you're actually going to do this?
If I don't hire anybody, if I'm just by myself, I would probably, I guess, do what I'm doing now, which is I work 4 to 5 days a week. And I usually work about 30 hours a week. I don't work a ton, but I do have charting and things like that kind of take up a little bit of time afterwards. So yeah, I'd probably sort of stick to that schedule. I'll usually do like one Saturday a month if I stay in that spa type setting. So that's where I'm just not sure as far as like what setting I need to be in. And also I'm realizing if I stay in a spa type setting, they want some type of a cut from my revenue. So they want to charge rent, they would charge like a lower rent, but there's some percentage that they would charge. They're not sure what the percentage would be yet, but that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is it going to be more advantageous for me to be alone in a freestanding building, or is it better to stay with them and pay them this unknown cut, but yet I have a lot of good foot traffic and client referral? Or do I do both?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult proposition when you're just getting started because you're so desperate for that clientele, right? Like you really, you want to get busy fast. And so going to an established place, like you said, the foot traffic and the referrals and all that stuff. So you have to step back and you have to quantify this stuff. Okay. Like anytime you're doing something like this in business, try not to allow your emotions to dictate the decision. Try to quantify it. So how you can quantify this is in a med spa, depending on the percentage that they want, okay, it's only worth it if that percentage, if that amount of money, so if you actually have to estimate how much money you would generate in a month, and then the percentage that they would take, that dollar amount needs to be equal or less to what you would spend on your marketing if you were in a standalone facility. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all it is. You're giving them a cut to market your practice and to give you a room. Okay.
That's right.
You're right. The physical space, big whoop-de-doo, that doesn't mean anything. That's really not that important. I mean, you can get a room anywhere. You can get an office wherever you want. It's more or less, what can they provide you? They're providing you patients. Mm-hmm. Right. And so all they're doing is it's essentially just a marketing fee. That's how you should approach this. And so if you're generating let's just say $20,000 net, say you generate $30,000, $40,000 gross, and you net 20 grand. And let's say they take a cut of 5%. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, that's going to be $1,000. Mm-hmm. That's not bad. That's really not that bad for the amount of foot traffic you're going to get. Right. But if they start wanting more, 10%, 20%, 30%, or if you start generating a lot of money, tell them to take a hike.
Yeah. Right now, I think my monthly gross is 55 on average.
Right. Gross, right? Most aesthetics practices is what, 40, 50% margin typically.
I've streamlined it. That's the other thing that I've done for this business is I've streamlined it to make it much more profitable than what that room was when other people had been in there in the past.
Okay. So 60%?
Yeah, probably my thing. 55. Yeah, like 55. Cost of goods on 55 is usually, let's just for ease, $20,000.
Yeah. Okay. So then, 55%, 60%, something like that net profit. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, if you're going to give them a percentage, it's a percentage of net, not a percentage of gross. Okay. Mm-hmm. Never, ever, ever do that. In my opinion, it's best if you can just pay a flat rate and be done with it. But, a lot of places aren't going to be interested in that. So I guess what's your hesitation about just venturing out on your own and just doing this yourself versus, giving some of the bread to someone else? Like, why?
Um, I think it's just like having that exposure to new clients because at this spa, there's probably like 6 estheticians and like 20 hairdressers on the first floor. And because I treat them at cost, and if they're happy, they're really good at sending me new patients. Now, I do have a patient following at this point because I've been there, almost 5 years, but fully injecting for about 3 years. So I probably have at least 400 people, my guess, 500 maybe, that I would assume they would follow me. My fear, that's my hang up.
Well, of course they're going to, but let me ask you, do you not have a non-compete or anything, non-solicitation clause? Do you have anything like that?
I have nothing. And I just had my attorney review my contract that I have with my surgeon. And he was like, no, you're free and clear. But I made that clear when I did this interview with this surgeon almost 5 years ago. I said, I will work for you, but I can't sign a non-compete. Because I looked at other offices and they had these very restrictive non-competes.
Yeah.
It was going to basically make me like an indentured servant.
Yeah.
And I refused to do that.
Screw that. Never sign a contract that makes you a slave. Yeah, contract language can, really be a detriment to your success. So, if you don't have a non-compete or non-solicitation clause, what the hell is stopping you from just doing this? You built that. All that guy did was sign off on stuff for you. Any collaborator could do that for you.
For
a flat monthly rate. Right, exactly. He didn't do anything.
It's more the spa that's done so much, but they're incredibly supportive. They've said, like, listen, we're going to make this big move, if you feel like it's in your best interest to, go to a freestanding building, like, we support that. Like, we'll tell people where you are. And I'm like, all right. I don't know. I'm just worried. Like, they're such a good little like special spot to get clients. And I'm like, do I just keep an injector over there just to kind of, have access to them?
Right. Well, of course, you should. That builds a passive income stream.
And so that's my other fear. And I've heard this on some of your other podcasts. It's like, I'm an injector. I have a girl right now that wants me to train her, but it just takes a lot of effort to train somebody. Botox is relatively easy, but when you're getting into more advanced treatments like the fillers, it takes time. It takes years to get really good at some of this stuff. And so I have to invest a lot of my time into a person to do that. And then I'm fearful they'll just turn around and leave me. And then I have these locations and I, have to have someone there working.
Well, that's one of the risks of starting a business. You're always going to have that risk. There's just really no way around it. Any business that you start, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're training people on how to do it, to offset work, to build that passive income stream, to delegate work to others, that's just part of the game. That's part of the risk.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't allow this fear of what if to stop you. If you allow that to paralyze you, you're always going to be the one working in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. You have to just kind of get over that. I think that you can do one of two things here. You can train someone to do it, or you can hire someone who's experienced. The experienced person is going to want, obviously, a larger cut, that kind of a thing. Regardless of what you do, you make sure they sign a non-solicitation clause. Okay.
Yes.
Like, they cannot take your patients. They're your patients, right? But it's probably important too that you always put your head in the door kind of a thing. And you're also talking to the patients and stuff. Don't just completely, disappear from the scene, because if that person did leave or whatever, of course, clients will go to them. Even if they do sign a non-solicitation clause, they probably will. But if you're still poking your head in the door and still providing other services and whatnot, then that reduces that risk, right?
That's a great point. Like being a little bit hands-on, or like, maybe that injector does a Botox for them one session, I do it the following.
Exactly. Right. Maybe some of the real advanced stuff you continue to do.
That's a good idea.
You're still the one prescribing them. And I remember you said that you might be wanting to offer a little bit of weight loss. You're still the one prescribing the semaglutide or the phentermine or whatever,
Yeah.
So don't let that be a fear of yours. Don't let that prevent you from really doing this. Okay. Don't get paralyzed by it.
Yeah. I know you've heard this a million times. It is. It's just like, it's nerve wracking because also it's like, it's me endorsing this person, and people, they're used to like how I do things for them. And that's why they keep coming back. Like, I'm the quote unquote talent. And so then when I'm, passing trust, into this like new person, I want that person to be able to perform at least as good as I'm doing it, if not better. So that's like the other, boundary.
And sure. And it's, I hear that from so many other nurse practitioners I talk with, and I'm even guilty of experiencing that as well. All right. You just kind of got to get over it,
Yeah. Just take the dive.
Yeah. You just do. You have to just realize some things are out of your control. And you got to trust people, compensate people well. You're going to have to just give the keys to someone else. You're going to have to, unless you want to work in your business forever. Then you end up becoming a slave to your business. And, I guess it ultimately comes down to how much do you enjoy doing this?
Well, it's my passion. I mean, I love doing it, but I also at some point, I can't inject people for the rest of my life. Like I need to have some type of like an exit strategy, or at least a way to divest a little bit, like maybe where I'm only injecting 1 to 2 times a week and not 5 times a week.
Right. So you're going to have to just accept the fact that you're going to have some other people do some of this stuff for you. Okay. Yeah. I think the high end, high liability stuff should always be you. Okay. But you can delegate some of these lower liability kind of tasks to other people, like Botox, for example, or setting up an IV for someone, something like that. Like you can always delegate those lower tasks to the RN and have them do it, but the high liability stuff you do. And then that way your head's still in the door.
Yes, exactly. And I think I would probably lean towards only hiring mid-levels, whether it be a PA or an NP anyhow.
I gotcha. Okay. Versus an RN.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that in a way because, you're still responsible for the RN, like from a liability standpoint. If they screw up or whatever, it's still going to come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, they have to have that history and physical done, I think, by either myself or the collaborating physician. So if I have like a mid-level, then at least, they can do their own initial consult without me being there.
Right. And then and they take the responsibility, the liability as well. You don't.
Yes.
Right.
Do you recommend like a place where I would, or I guess maybe my attorney could do this, but where I can draw up like a contract for because these people will be 1099s. I assume that's like
just email me after this. I got a great 1099 contract for you.
Okay. You said MAs is kind of your favorite, but they have to be actual employees.
Yeah, you can't really contract out a 1099 or an MA. That's not going to fly if the IRS does an audit on you. That's like 1099 your receptionist. I mean, come on.
Right.
You could 1099 a nurse practitioner or an RN, you could justify that, but 1099 a receptionist or an MA, you really can't do that. So they need to be an employee. And so, having an MA that is trained in the front office and the back office, they end up being a critical component to your business.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who can answer the phone, schedule patients, take payments, but also can come back there and help you out too,
Going back to the spa setting, that is one of the other services that they provide. Is they provide all the front desk.
Oh, okay.
So they answer the phones, they schedule my patients. The money that I make actually goes through them, and then they distribute it out. I mean, and they'll give us reports, and I keep my own spreadsheet, so I know that's not what I would do in the future, but that's what the doctor I work for is doing.
Yeah, I don't like that. One of the number one rules in business: never give anyone else the power over your money.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Okay. Never, ever do that. Chances are you'd probably be just fine and they're trustworthy and, whatever. But what if the owner decides to say, sayonara, I'm going to Mexico, bye, and just liquidates the accounts and disappears?
Yes. Worst case scenario. Yeah.
Right. That happens though. Like that happens.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of that happening. Like that shit happens to people, So yeah, if you're going to stay with this med spa, and you're going to be doing the aesthetics and all this stuff through there, you need to be the one collecting payment. You need to be the one handling your books.
Okay.
Don't allow someone else to do that because you never know. 5% here, 10% here, $100 here, $100 there. You would never notice. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So they wouldn't handle the money, but they do handle the front desk people.
Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect.
And the scheduling. So if I do go out on my own, then that's something I have to think about is, front desk person, scheduling, that kind of a thing.
Sure. That's not that big of a deal. Don't let that be a big hang up. Okay. It's really not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get some young MA who loves this kind of stuff. I don't think you have a problem finding someone to work for you.
I wouldn't know. I've never, ever hired somebody before.
And a med spa setting like this, someone who's kind of into, their looks and makeup and all that kind of thing. I'm sure you can find someone pretty easily,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, med spas and this kind of stuff seem to attract a certain type of people that work there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, would you be confident enough or have the balls to try to do, this other location it's pretty established because I've been there, but to maintain that location and then do a second location, Or is that being overzealous?
No. I mean, not at all. Like that's how you become a millionaire, especially as a practice owner. You have to open up that second location. You have to expand that, or you open up a larger location in a better place in town and just grow it from inside that. You could do that too. But to truly expand and build that empire, yeah, I mean, a second location is, that's kind of in the playbook.
Yeah. And this second location, I mean, both locations are like prime real estate. Like it's in the right zip code where the money is, like where people have, extra cash to spend on this kind of stuff. And this second location that's coming available, like I said, I looked at it 4 years ago and I just fell in love with it. It's so adorable. And it doesn't come up for lease very often because they always sign, I think, 3 to 5 year leases. I think this one's a 3-year lease, actually.
And it's available now?
It's going to be available this fall. So it'll be available like October-ish. And then the new location of the spa that I am working in currently, their new build out will be done February of next year. So that's kind of my timeline.
Yeah, this is a critical junction for you here. What do you do?
Yes,
do you go to that other location or do you stay at this med spa? Like, what do you do?
That's why I'm so desperate. I reached out to you because I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Right. You're not going to grow big enough or fast enough by this fall or February to justify a second location. Now, is it possible? Sure, it's possible. I mean, there are some outliers out there, but chances are probably not going to be able to justify that. Okay. Just from a realistic perspective. So, I would say throw that out the window. I don't want you to have 2 locations 6 months from now. I don't think, it's possible. I'm not saying that you're incapable of it. You sound like a smart girl. You probably are, but it's unrealistic. So what do you do here? I guess my first question for you is what's your budget like here for a business startup? How much money you got sitting around that you could throw into this comfortably?
Comfortably like $100,000.
Okay. That's not debt. That's what you have.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I could put into the business. That's not all the liquidity I have, but that's what I have.
And worst case, you lost it all. How big of a hit would that be to you?
I would still have like another $100,000 sitting.
So 50%. Like, anyways, you're not going to need $100,000 anyways. It's not even going to be close. Okay. Mm-hmm. 30, 40,000, maybe 50,000 bucks at the high end of the range here, I would imagine, before you start generating income to even have to worry about it. Right. So that's good. Basically, you got the budget, you got the money to invest in this and remain debt free, which is fantastic.
That's right. Yeah. I don't have student loan debt or anything.
Perfect.
Like that.
And don't go into debt for a business. I think taking business debt out I just don't think it's a good idea for, businesses like this. It's really not, because you can get these things up for, $10,000, $20,000. So you got the money. The med spa is going to offer you a couple things here. I guess the benefits are they're providing you receptionist, some office staff, a location, and foot traffic and referrals. That's pretty much what they're offering you.
Yes, but I will just have a room. So my ability to grow doesn't really
very limited.
Exist. Yeah.
Correct. Very, very limited. And you'll never be truly like a clinic. You'll always be that lady over there in the corner in that room that does Botox and fillers, right?
Yes.
Right. That's what you'll always be. The other option is that you lease out this other building. You bring all your clients that you have with you. I mean, they're going to follow you, right? I mean, why wouldn't they?
I mean, that's the hope.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, they're comfortable with you. They trust you. Like, there's no reason why they wouldn't. I guarantee you 80% of them will follow you. Okay. Worst case, 50% will. And you're still starting off with what, 300 patients?
At least, yeah.
At least, even if it's 50%. Right. So you're starting off with a great number of patients. Remember, you don't need thousands of patients. You only need 100 to have a profitable business.
Oh, yeah. We've got way more than 100.
Okay. So you're already starting off with money. Like, you're already starting off with guaranteed income, which is a fantastic place to be when starting a business. So the risk is minimal if you venture out on your own here. You would have to hire a receptionist or an MA, big whoop-de-doo. You pay them $20 an hour and, they'll be happy. And don't worry about it. It's nothing. $20 an hour ain't nothing. Like, you'll be able to cover that no problem. Right. Mm-hmm. And then the patient volume, the referrals and whatnot. Do you think if you continued giving those hairdressers and nail techs or whatever the hell's in a place like that. I don't frequent places like that, so I don't know. I don't get pedicures and whatnot. I have no clue.
You should. They're lovely.
But anyways, those people, like, you still provide them services at cost. Why wouldn't they keep referring people to you?
That would be my plan, to keep that relationship healthy.
Right. Exactly. So why wouldn't they keep referring people to you? There's no reason why they wouldn't. No reason at all. I don't see why they wouldn't. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. I'm really leaning towards your own building here. I don't see the benefit of the med spa that you're at right now outside of mitigating some risk of leasing a building, building out how you want, investing some money into it. Like outside of that, I really don't see the benefit in it. I just don't. Like you have these high aspirations and I feel like you're going to grow out of that med spa location very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like I'm almost at the point now where, because I'm not advertising, like I've not even utilized advertising yet. It's all word of mouth or the spa. So I feel like once I really tap into professional advertising, then it's going to exponentially grow, and then I'm not going to have anywhere to go.
No, you're not. And like, you're not even advertising yet. I mean, geez,
No.
You're going to start with probably between 300 to 500 patients right from the get-go. You're going to have this established relationship with this place. They're going to continue referring patients to you because there's no reason why they wouldn't. You know what I mean? You're helping them out. They're helping you out, that kind of a thing. You're referring people over there because they do great hair, and they're referring people over to you because you do great Botox. You do great fillers, whatever, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to continue doing that. And then if you just implement a few things from a marketing perspective that I talk about over and over and over again on this podcast and in the courses, just a few of those things, you're going to kill it. I don't see how you couldn't. Beautiful website, Google business listing, throwing a couple Google ads out, maybe some ads on Facebook or whatever. How could you not? You're going to kill it. And you have all those clients.
Right.
Please write me a 5-star Google review, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you're going to start off with 50, 60 reviews on your Google page. I mean, you are in a position here for success. I don't see how you're not.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, seriously, you are. Like, you really are. I don't see how you're not. The only risk you have here is, I really think most of it's just in your head. There's not much risk here. I say go for it.
Okay. Yeah, the location I'm looking at, the only downside of it is it doesn't have there's a cottage, and there's like a whole little community of cottages. There's like 6 of them in this prime location of the city I live in, but there's not street visibility. And I don't know if it'd be there. I talked to the owner. They will consider putting up a sign, but it would really be just people knowing me already and coming, to that location. So that's the one thing that I don't have, it's not sitting right there on the side of the street.
So then why do you like this place so much then? Like, what's the benefit of it outside of, your emotional attachment to it? Just because you think it's cute?
Because they do like a lot of high-end events there with different magazines. I know the ladies, majority of the people I treat are women. They just enjoy pretty spaces like that. Like they like coming to pretty, places like that. I know if I walked into a place like that, I would just enjoy being there. And the price range, I think, is manageable for me. So it's $3,000 a month for that space. And I think I would have to pay property taxes. I'm not sure. I think that's what they told me. So I don't know if that's a bad deal. It's very hard to find places to rent where I live or in this specific area.
Right. Are you going to get much foot traffic at this place? There's shops and stuff there. Like, is there a reason why someone would just walk by it?
Well, there are some little shops. So yes, but it wouldn't be anything like the volume at the spa.
It wouldn't be significant, right?
No.
You're going to have to rely on getting people to know that you're there,
Yes.
Continuing this word of mouth, continue the relationship with the, the med spa or whatever, ensuring that you're easily found, right, on Google and online and that kind of a thing. So if you continue doing, if you do those things, there shouldn't be much of an issue here with it. And plus you're starting off with, a few hundred patients already. And so you're already starting off, the income's going to pay for the expenses of this practice. And plus you're going to make money right from the get-go, I guess my recommendation for you would be is look around.
Okay.
And if you can find something that's nice, but with some street side frontage in a high traffic area, always pick that place. Always pick that.
So it sounds like I need to get in touch with like a commercial real estate.
Commercial real estate agent and just start doing the rounds, so to speak, on where commercial real estate is listed. So like, you would be amazed. Some landlords still post on Craigslist. Like you could go on Craigslist, go on there on a daily basis, Facebook Marketplace, and then Google, commercial real estate for rent in your city, whatever. There should be like some commercial real estate firms that list it on their website. So just take a good look. And then maybe like on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon or something like that, drive around town and just start looking. Like some places, the only advertisement that they have at the offices for lease or the places for lease is like a sign in the window that you can barely see.
Yeah.
So you have to just do a little bit of due diligence here on your own. Like you have to just get out there and kind of just look around. Like my first men's health clinic location I found on Craigslist. Second, when we moved to the new location on a main road, I was literally driving on that road and I saw the sign. Pulled over. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Called her, signed the lease the next day. Okay.
Wow.
The location that we have at my second men's health practice, I hired a commercial real estate agent because it was in a city that I wasn't familiar with. And we spent a day driving around. She was showing me the offices and whatnot. And then, I picked one. So that's my story on how I found my office locations.
Okay. No, that's great advice. Just kind of, drive the area.
Just drive around. Exactly. Right. So you might be surprised. Like, don't get hung up too much on this one location. Don't be emotional about it because you could probably find something better, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay. Maybe for less money.
Yeah. Or maybe for about the same amount, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, $3,000 a month is expensive for a lease. It is, but a fairly healthy, high margin business like you're going to open, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah, the sticker shock wasn't a lot for me. I just was like,
right.
It's okay. I can make that.
You can cover that. No problem. Right. It's $36,000 a year.
Yeah. And the only time frame is just the spa that I'm in. I don't want to say they're pressuring me because they're not. They're so kind to me, but they really just need to know hey, are we building you a space in our new space or are we not? And that's, I know.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
right.
yeah, I need to.
Okay.
They want to start building in June, so they're ready for February, but they need to know.
Okay. So
architect now.
Okay. So then why don't you do this then? I would advise, if I was you, to talk to the owner, ask if you could buy a little equity into the building. Be like, listen, I want to help you guys grow this. I want to see this blow up for all of us. Can I get in a little bit on this build out for the space that I want in it? That way I feel secure helping you guys grow and I have a space that I can grow into as well.
Interesting. Okay. And so would that mean I would incur the build out cost for my room?
Probably. Correct. So you'd have to be like, hey, listen, how much are you guys paying for this new build out? Blah, 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 whatever. Okay. It's, I don't know, let's just say 5,000 square feet and they're spending $1 million building it out. Okay. I want 500 or 600 square feet of it to be built out as a small clinic location inside your med spa. We're going to do all kinds of fun things in here, IV infusion, weight loss, aesthetics, all this fun stuff. It's going to bring traffic in for you guys. It's going to be a win-win for everyone. And I want a piece of the equity of the piece of real estate that you're building out. So let's come to an agreement, So ask for maybe like 10% of the square footage. So if it's 5,000 square feet, you're going to have 500 square feet. 500 square feet, you have 2 or 3 rooms, the lobby and all that stuff you don't have to worry about because it's going to be a shared lobby for the whole place, right?
Yeah. And I would just have one room.
Right. Okay. One room, 500 square feet's a very large room. I mean, you could really grow something big or even have 2 little offices, one for medical consultations for weight loss and whatnot, and then the other one for the aesthetics procedures and, that sort of a thing. But anyways, the whole point of that is that if you're going to take 10% and build your own space out of it, be like, listen, I'll drop cash right now to cover that 10%. Here's $100,000. Boom.
Mm-hmm. So 10% of just the room I would be functioning out of.
10% of the square footage of the entire facility they're building.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the entire square footage of this building is 12,000 square feet.
Okay. But what about the new one? Do you have any clue?
No, that is the new one. The new one is 12,000.
Okay.
We're downsizing. Yeah.
I got you. Well, how much square footage do you need here? Remember, you're thinking growth, not what you need now, but like a couple years from now, don't you want a couple rooms?
Yeah, I want it now.
Right. You want that now. So don't kick yourself in the foot here. Like ask them that. Be like, how much would it be for me to get in on this and maybe get about 1,000 square feet to build a small clinic inside here for aesthetics and weight loss and, these services that complement what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've asked them if I can have more square footage. And she was showing me the plans yesterday. And so she's like, okay, this is the office we have planned for you. You could have that's right next door to it. This is like a big storage closet. We could not make that a storage closet and like let you have that space too. But I just don't know how big, or how functional that space would be. But that was kind of like what she offered as far as like giving me more square footage.
Well, talk to her about being a partner with it.
Okay. Okay.
Like actually like footing some of the bill, putting some of the down payment, be like, I want to be a part of this. I want to help you grow.
Mm-hmm.
I would just be straight up with them. Like, tell them that this is my plan. This is my vision of what I see in a couple years, and I will grow out of this. Then what am I supposed to do? Just voice your concern, be straight up with them, and see if you can get a little bit more space in there. It's going to be a win-win for everyone. I don't see how it couldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're definitely motivated because they brought me my numbers in December and they literally came in my room and they're like, we are so proud of what you've done.
Well,
Like,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you have a lot of leverage here. All right. Make it happen. Like, talk to them, take them out to dinner, have some drinks, and just sit there and tell them what you want to do. Those floor plans can always be changed. Okay. They can always change a few little things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
And so if I do equity, if I do 10%, I don't even know. See, I don't know the questions to even ask.
Well,
is that just like what I would own? It'd be like that little piece of their business I would own.
You would know of the real estate. So you would be, right. So there would be multiple people on the note, you and then the other partners that are going in on this. And then you would be on the title as well for a percentage of the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's say I went and bought an apartment complex with some partners. We all put 33% into it for the down payment. And we all took 33% of the risk. We all would own 33% of it, right?
Got it.
So that's kind of what you're doing.
They're leasing the space. They don't own the real estate. They're leasing their own space.
So they're having someone else build this out and they're just going to lease it from them.
They're going to pay for the build out, but they're going into like a strip mall type setting. So the strip mall technically owns all of the real estate, all those.
Well, then even better, it still takes down some of the risk. Be like, listen, I want to be on this lease as well. You can have multiple people on a lease.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I would ask.
I'll cover 10%. Right. I want 10% of the space. I'll pay for that 10% and I'll pay for my build out.
Okay. Got it.
Right.
See what they say.
Right. See what they say. It's a win-win, but voice your concern. I can't grow out of here because you can't. You're not going to be able to with one room. You're not going to. And 1 year from now, 2 years from now, you are going to be plateaued and stuck.
Yeah. I'm already sort of feeling that because I have no way to cycle people in and out of the room. Like if someone shows up early or someone shows up late, I just don't have any flexibility with just one chair.
Well, you're already having the growing pains.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse.
Right.
So fix the problem now before you start venturing in on this, solo practice, like what you're doing.
Okay. This is not a question related to this, but this was going back to hiring somebody. For your MAs, do you offer them health insurance or benefits or any of that kind of stuff?
I do not.
Okay. And then if I have an employee, does that hurt my ability to put like the $60-something thousand away, like in a SEP IRA or?
After 3 years. So you can put the max into your self-employed IRA 401k for 3 years. Any employee that you've had for 3 years or greater, you have to match the percentage of what you're putting into your IRA 401k. So it's 20% basically. So if you were making $200,000 a year or whatever, you can basically put up to $61,000, I think, into your self-employed retirement account. Mm-hmm. And so whatever percentage of income that is for you, you have to match that percentage of income for the employee that you have and write them a check for that same amount after 3 years.
After 3 years.
Right. Not the 61,000, but the percentage of that $61,000 that it is from your salary that you paid yourself from the business. Mm-hmm. Right. You have to match that percentage to the employee. So for example, through my men's health clinic 2022, I paid myself the $61,000 to put into my self-employed IRA. Right.
Okay.
When we figured out the percentage of that, compared to what my salary was, I had to match that to my head MA, my office manager, who's been with me for more than 3 years. Mm-hmm. And so I had to write the kid a check for like $10,000 to put into his IRA. And so we created an IRA account for him. And I was like, I had to write it out to the brokerage, the IRA, and, under his name. And I was like, here you go. I was like, you have to deposit this into the IRA. if you deposit it, withdraw it out, you're going to be taxed on it and you're going to get a 10% hit. So whatever you do with it after this is up to you, dude. But this is for you because you've helped me build this place. I had no problem writing that. But if you have multiple employees, then it could be an issue. So then you have to actually do a 401k plan through your business. Complicates things a little bit more, but it's not really that big of a deal. Don't worry about it for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's complicated. Your accountant will help you with that.
Okay, got it. How many W-2s do you have?
See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So do you do that for all 5 of those people?
Only one of them been with me for 3 years.
Oh, it's after their employment for 3 years.
After they've been employed for 3 years, correct?
Oh.
Two of them are coming up on their 3 years this coming up year. And so I'm going to have to switch from an IRA to a 401k because I can't write each person a check for $10,000-$15,000. I'm not going to do that. So instead we'll do a 401k, which is then it's a little bit more of a reasonable match of like, $2,000 or whatever, whatever they put into it, I'll match it. Okay. There's a difference between an IRA and a 401k from a self-employed standpoint and the taxes and everything associated with it. An accountant can help you with that because like I said, they're data entry specialists. They know these very, very specific kind of things.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification. I just wasn't sure.
For sure. So you have any other questions? I mean, it sounds like, you are in a fantastic position. I'm not lying to you about that. Like you really are. You are in a fantastic position and it's a win. I don't see how this could fail. So I really think you're good to go. I think you just got to get out of your head and get going.
Okay. And do some due diligence.
Exactly. Yeah. You're ready to go. Like you really just got to get started and just do it.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've built up my team of people, like, having a bookkeeper and getting my commercial insurance and MedMal, collaborating doctor, attorney, CPA, social media person. I think I have all those people kind of ready to go, unless there's anybody else I need in that arsenal.
No, it doesn't really sound like it. It sounds like you got what you need.
Okay.
And listen, you can figure it out as you go. You don't need to be 100% ready to get going.
Okay. Yeah. Analysis paralysis.
Right. Exactly. Like you don't. Like you got your collaborator, you got malpractice, you have a service, you have patients. Now you need a location, get started. Everything else can be figured out as you get going. I don't even think I even had an accountant when I first started my business. I just figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. I was like, oh, crap, tax time's coming around. I was like, oh, my books look like crap. I need some help. I'm going to hire an accountant now to clean this up. You know what I mean? Don't worry too much about you can figure it out as you get going.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Any questions?
No, I think that's it. Unless we're going to do a wrap-up question, which I do have one random one for you.
Yeah, wrap-up question. I'd like to end the episode with you asking me a question. What's up?
Okay, so I don't know if you'll ever do a course on real estate, but I'm always very interested in how you invest in real estate and how you got started. I would love to hear that content if you ever create it.
Yeah, it's kind of on the to-do list. So I have this wealth building category of courses. It's like I have the tax course, the financial independence investing course, asset protection course. And so I feel like a real estate investing course within that category would be really, really good for those that are interested in it. So it's on my to-do list. I'll see if I can get it out before the end of the year. We have just so many courses kind of in development right now and whatnot. So yeah, no, it's on the back burner. I've really considered it because, a lot of people don't really know how to get started in. When it's broken down and explained, it's really not that difficult. And it's a great way to just diversify your investments. It's a great tax write-off. The tax incentives on it are fantastic. It's a win-win, and especially if you have like a vacation rental in a place that you like to visit, like you have renters, tourists paying off your second home for you basically. And whenever you want to go visit it to check on it, it's a complete tax write-off. The trip is because it's for business. Like it's just, there's so many win-win situations with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you found that I tried to look into investment real estate, but when I called my bank just to get a rate, they said that the rate was higher because it was an investment property and not a homestead.
Correct. Yeah. Unfortunately, investment real estate is going to have a higher interest rate on it than a primary residence. Primary residence real estate's usually the interest rate's a lot cheaper, but interest rates right now are ridiculous. They're going to remain high for quite a while. The Fed is still going to continue to raise interest rates for a little while. We're recording this in March of 2023. There's still going to be some rate hikes on the interest rates. So, when does that stop? I don't know. And then how long is that going to last for? It's going to last for a while until inflation starts cooling down. So right now is not the best time to be investing in real estate because of the interest rates. It completely destroys your profit margins.
Right. Okay. That's good to know.
The only way around that is if you can get a commercial real estate loan. with an adjustable rate on it. So basically you're going to start off with a smaller rate, but it readjusts after 5 years, depending on what the, current rates are at the time. There's a little bit more risk associated with it. Typically commercial loans are 15 or 20-year notes. So the payment's a little bit higher. So it eats into your margins as well. But I bought some properties in 2022 and I had to use a commercial loan because it was the only thing that I could get an interest rate that made sense. So
did you use that for like one of the vacation homes or?
I got it for a duplex and a vacation home. Correct. Yeah. So the duplex, it's a duplex, so it's rented out. And then the vacation home is a place that, I absolutely just fell in love with. It's basically my dream home, but it's, 2,000 miles away. And so, I visit it often, but it's also an Airbnb. So it pays for itself.
Okay. I didn't realize you could do that. You could use a commercial loan for something like that.
You
Is it
can.
because you're using it as a business or you're like renting it out?
Exactly. It's a business. The loan was written for one of my LLCs, not me.
Yes.
And then the property was titled in that LLC. So it works. I wasn't thrilled about it. I mean, the margins on it, I'm not making that much money, if anything, on it, but whatever. It's an investment. It pays for itself. And, I enjoy the place and I visit it multiple times a year. So it's a win-win, right? When I fly out there.
Can you comment on any of your upcoming courses you're working on?
Since this was recorded in March, this podcast is going to be released in May or June. So we got some more functional medicine courses coming out. Excited about that. We have the aesthetics fillers class coming out, which is exciting. Let's see here. Genetics course. That'll probably be out before this podcast is released. So it's like a genetic course on how to do some genetic testing and stuff for patients. So it's a nice little niche service. Fertility clinic course. That one's really exciting. Yeah. That's a great service to offer. Oh, geez, there's just so many of them. My goodness. Advanced IV course. Super excited about that one. There's literally like 7 or 8. I'm losing my train of thought. So there's quite a few.
No, thank you. Thank you for all of the work you've put into this. Truly. I know that you've just been like a godsend to so many nurse practitioners because we just don't learn this anywhere ever.
Yeah, I know. School's not going to teach you this stuff and they never will,
No.
Yeah. So they'll teach you about nursing theory and stuff you'll never use. Yeah.
Oh, don't. Oh, God.
Right. Let's not even go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's like PTSD is being triggered.
Right. I remember just putting my head in my hands and just scratching my face, just being like, what are we talking about right now?
Literally, pick the best answer now. And it's like, what?
Right. How is this relevant to the real world and practice or anything? This is such a waste of time. I know. So anyways, all right. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate your time. I really do. I think this is a great episode full of all kinds of pearls. And I think you're going to kill it. So keep me updated. I would love to do a follow-up on this in 6 months, kind of see where you're at. So.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Mandy. That was what a great episode. She's going to kill it. I just don't see how she couldn't. She already has established patients. She has the skills. She's got the money. She's in a excellent position to succeed. She really is, So, if you're in a similar situation, you have some funds, you have an idea, you have some patients that are going to follow you, get out of your head, just get started. You can do it. Don't let fear paralyze you here. Don't enrich other people when you can enrich yourself for all the hard work that you're putting into this. And choosing between 2 locations or making any decision in your business life, try to quantify that decision. Okay. Run the numbers. Remember, this is a business. It comes down to basically numbers, what makes sense. But try to quantify business decisions. So try not to let your emotions dictate what you are doing in business. Stand back, run the numbers, and look at it from an objective point of view. If you do that, you will make smarter business decisions. And so, if she ends up going her own way through her, another office, it just seems like from a mathematical standpoint, that's probably going to work better in her favor. So just always do that. All right. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.